Haven't been clean shaven for like almost 6 or 7 months. But anyways, we'll get into it in about a few seconds. So we're going to go into the show. So it could be 3, 2. Welcome to Chilltime with Jose. Hope you guys are having a great day today. And I'm your host, Jose. I'm still waiting on the overlays from my designer at the moment before we can get some people on. I've been thinking of getting Rufflecoat and Tam on if they're available. And, I'll give them a shout out, for their new little show called Art of Happiness, a little project actually, where this is actually the funny part this is actually how they describe it, is that we basically throw ourselves in the deep end for our viewers' pleasure. So I'm just sitting there going like, so in other words, you're a show for sadists. And I thought that was actually a quite funny line and quite at peace for, like something like Rufflecoat and Tam would do with a bit of dark humor aside. Now, on the other end, what we're going to be talking about today is ESA NA match fixing, which is not good and really, really bad. The recordings that happened last week, they happened last week just after I finished the show, and I think I was casting an ESA advanced match, I believe, when all that stuff went down, which I'm not terribly happy with. And also going to talk about some reactions to it as well as some absolutely, mind-numbing reactions, and is what kind of the thing brings to in the end, where like the people just think everyone's match fixing at one point. Happiest CSGO on the planet. Yeah, Rufflecoat is the happiest CSGO on the planet. Then we're going to talk about some good things, like, some tips that Maniac's been giving some people as well. Then we're going to talk about Cloud9 leaving the scene. And then we're going to talk about Virtus Pro's massive comeback as well on Dust 2. And then we're going to talk about some roster news as well. A lot of rosters having some shifting here and there, especially Mad Lions, Endpoints having a bit of shifting too. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first up, we're going to go to the shit news, which is basically NA match fixing, okay? So basically, this was released by Norte, who's or Notes, as they call him. I like how he came onto Richard Lewis's show and they were talking about it. And it was like, Norte, or was it Note? And he goes, it's Note. And Richard's like, take out the goddamn H then. So it's Note. Okay, it's not Norte. It's not any word backwards. It's Note. Yeah. So basically, it's a recording from Dust 2 US. So it's basically sourced from another article that Reggie Carson, 4-Pack, their Rebirth Trio discussing fans to fix 2 ESA Premier matches. So essentially, what they suggested, if I can find the thingo. Yeah, there we go. So essentially, they got the transcript here. So basically, what is competition is planning of a runtime of 1 minute and 54 seconds says this. So basically, there's a bit of a thing here saying Retchi saying that, essentially what they're like trying to say here is that, hey, this is how we can match fix. You can come in the serve at the end and win easy. And, Retchi's trying to convince 4-Pack like to fix the match and stuff like that. By the way, all these guys are like in cahoots with match fixing, even 4-Pack. And yeah, like they're basically talking in their chats. And basically for this as well, if you guys don't know, like basically they've been trying to lose every game in the ESA Mountain Dew League to try and get money. That's what they're trying to do. And then Carson goes, I'm not sure if Vec will agree to radar. So to radar, what it means to stream in Discord, so you know where everyone is essentially. Like basically the IGL will radar. So basically, the pre-fires will happen and stuff like that because they know exactly where they are. And yeah, and basically Reggie organizing also on condition they'll use 2 Bitcoin sites. So I'm going to share profit with those 2 sites. Jules is okay with it too. And as you can see here, a lot of people have been going, oh, no way you couldn't have known. And there's like some stuff here, as you can see here. I told them there's no way you tell Battery or Saturn it needs to look like a try-hard game. And 4-Pack's also, obviously involved in the match fixing. Like, it's fucking obvious. Like, I'm not setting up this game. And so, yeah. I just missed the last few hours. Oh, dude, man. I'll tell you now. Not ideal, okay? Not ideal at all. I didn't watch Behind Numbers. I think it was up at like 2 a.m. my time, which I'm never going to watch in the end. But as you can see here, really bad overall, especially for Carson, who like literally is probably going to throw away his entire career, especially since he's been in some pretty decent teams. And Retro and 4-Pack, people suspected them a lot earlier that they were fixing matches as well. They didn't suspect Carson. So now what's happened here is that basically ECA have banned 5 of the players, including Joels and Vec, because they confirmed that Joels and Vec had been, match fixing as per se, because they agreed to radar and stuff like that. And they've all been suspended, and I think OCG can fill in players, but ChocoCheck cannot. So it's more than likely, I think ChocoCheck have been DQ'd. One of the teams have been DQ'd, because Senan actually mentioned that Recon 5 will be taking one of the team's places in the playoffs. But, imagine throwing to play a Mythic. I mean, what is wrong with you? Yeah. But either way, I know that's right. OCG have no one on their roster, not enough people without Joels and Vec, and ChocoCheck do have enough people in their roster. So you can see here, basically, they're also, not to mention as well, ESIC, the interview we watched last week, they said the FBI is involved as well, which is really, really stuffed up. And ESA acted pretty quickly on the recording, by the way. I think it was only a day before ESA suspended all the 5 players involved. Now, agree with it 100%. They got caught. And not to mention that, Joels and Vec were okay with it, and they're like, don't tell Battery or Saturn. Now, at this stage, when the recording was done, they did not have a 5th. And at that time, Austin agreed to step in, and it's unlikely as hell that Austin's even involved with this. Okay, I think Austin was being a good boy. Saturn's tweet longer from ages ago saying that Battery and Austin were awesome. Will probably say that they didn't know about it. Now this is where I don't get, because a lot of the people be like, he's involved, Saturn and Battery must have known, Austin must have known. It doesn't work like that. As you can see here, these 2 guys, Red Chi, 4-Pack, and Carson, basically told, hey, this better not get to Saturn Battery. We gotta make it look like a try-hard game, otherwise, they'll think something's up. So as you can see here, like they said here, this is before Austin came into the mix. Battery or Saturn, it needs to be a legit try-hard game. They didn't want them to know, so obviously they're not in on it. So you can't when you guys are saying everyone in NA match fixes, you got to realize some of the people legit don't fucking know. They really don't know. You got to have concrete proof before you even throw the match fixing accusation out. Okay, you can't be fix throw if a player makes a mistake. So what if a player makes a mistake? A legitimate mistake. Gets the wrong info. That's why you can't throw a match fixing accusation out there before you got concrete evidence on your table. So they're being suspended. So what happened afterwards as well, they were doing a few reviews back in the day. So Hunter, which is basically Sick from CS, is doing a bit of a review. I believe he plays Valorant for Sentinel, is that correct? Yep. And basically this is a video, I believe, is of 4-Pack and Retchi. And I got muted because it's from /32, of course. And what happens basically is it's a very, very poor anti-eco, incredibly poor anti-eco. And of course they get basically dinked out by USPs and lose a lot of the weapons here. And they think they lose a 1v1 at the end, and also they lose a bomb at CT. And you guys got to realize some of these players have no idea what's happening. For example, they've blamed, I think it was Odorous in this clip. Some people have DM'd Odorous and stuff like that. And Odorous got really, really pissed off about it. I'll show you the link to Odorous at the moment. This is the full clip, obviously. So what happens here is that they lose this round here. They lose it in I think it's a 1v1 in the end. Odorous does hold the angle, actually makes a general charge hit, and you see that guy doesn't even respond. And now Odorous in a 1v2. He 1v1 now, actually. And he doesn't see the player to the last moment, and get taken out by the M4 there. Now, I'm going to tell you now, Odorous has received some hate from that. He received some hate from it as well, where, sucks in my name, so I never bet, stuff like that. And I kind of back Chad here, with the Easy Investigation, because he's been on some very reputable teams. And he's done it for 14 seasons, and someone was starting to bring up that he was in on it. And you get these stupid people, man. These absolute dumbass people. This guy, for example. How fucking stupid are you, dude? He only saw his head at the last second. He didn't know where the last player was. He killed the short player. Watch the clip. Just watch the clip. And then he goes, just stating what I see, bro. It's like, what? He didn't know where the player was. Then I was gonna say, like, Bolsey has a decent opinion, okay? That like Odorous was basically saving that round. And we don't read it for it. We don't to be axed, so you gotta be very careful with him. Guy's a teenager. And yeah, like basically six like, dude, man, I'm not mentioning Odorous. Like, dude, you almost saved the round there. Like Odorous, like I can tell you now in that clip there, Odorous almost saves the round from a really awful situation where 2 players are down with AKs, bombs dropped in CT, and weapons are recoverable. And then they try to accuse him and stuff like that, And like reality does chip in as well. One of Odorous' ex-teammates saying like acting like not smoking for long is a throw. And basically Odorous like, saying, hey, we were a pug team, blah, blah, blah. And like, a lot of people saying, looks like you're the only one trying. And then we get this like big brain take, I believe, from this guy, okay? And I'm going to say this, okay? I have no idea why even Odorous is mentioned. Like, holy moly. And what this funny thing is? Okay, we'll see the bit of their epic cheese afterwards, okay? This guy is the one that complained that video games are super, super stressful and so hard, and that he should get money, that he should get, have to work as a pro. So this guy is literally, like, this guy obviously bets on CSGO. It's kindly obvious, like, that... Oh my god. Like, I don't even know why he brought up Odorous' name, but this is like some of the stuff that Odorous gets. Even though, like, Odorous did nothing wrong, and this guy is, like, complaining non-stop about being a pro. Fucking LeMayo. So, of course, there's a lot of people, essentially, like, basically putting this out there. Magic Helmet, like, this is... I do agree with Magic Helmet here. I really hate those type of videos. Because, like, sometimes, like, a lot of those things are genuine mistakes. Or, like, the FPS goes shonky or something like that. Or some real actual tech issues. And you look like an idiot. You look like a clown in the demo. But in reality, let's just say, like, your power just shudders for a few seconds, but it turns back on, but you still lag anyway. That sort of thing, There's a lot of things that can happen. And that's why you gotta be, like, that's why you gotta say, 99% of the cases... It's just a poor decision making and playing like a bot, okay? And that I agree with Magic Helmet here. Like 100% agree with him. Like that's exactly what happens. Like 99% of the time, these people who are hacking, because they've done these videos before. Like Sash32 has done these videos before where like his supposed pros are hacking, and he's been completely and utterly wrong. So I think you should just back the 99% legit poor decision making until proven otherwise. Otherwise, this witch hunt with everyone apparently match fixing in NA is going to get a lot worse, and it's going to draw like collateral fire in the scene when we're not waiting for the report. Just wait for the report, guys. Like, it'll come out. It's meant to be coming out. The investigation wants to make sure it's concrete. And yeah, basically Jane has a bit of things. They might face it, premium experience every time we go against ecos. Like, he's just saying, hey, like, it happens. Like, it happens here too. And yeah, there's a lot of people you can tell that don't play like CSGO at all. Like, they don't play CSGO at all at a high level because just like, and of course, Odorous want to pick that one up as well. And yeah, I was actually really sad to see Odorous' name in here. But anyways, some good news is that Magnec's actually been sharing some pretty awesome things to like, do your stats and stuff like this. This is Excel spreadsheet, obviously. And it shows some pretty awesome graphs. And yeah, like, I'm going to say right here, right now, this is actually really, really good. And like, it only takes you a couple seconds to set all this up. And then you probably put on different sheets like NA, EU, and stuff like that. And this is like kind of like a little preview into the analyst brain and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome, actually. So you can see here, basically, actually, I don't think you can see it too much. But I'll put it to the left a bit. You can see here, basically, it's got the first pick, first ban, what maps they usually play. So you can see here, it's like, hey, maybe they might, they won't ban Nuke here. It'll be Dignitas's first pick and stuff like that, Very, very simple stuff. And, I do kind of agree, like, getting back to the match fixing point of view, I do kind of agree, like, it's becoming like a guilt by association sometimes at this point where, like, some of the players on the team legit may have been trying, had no idea, like, legit no idea that their teammates were on, like, the teammates are doing something behind their back. Like, essentially what Oda says, like, they were a pug team. Like, they were literally just a pug team. So he literally just turned up 5 minutes before the match, didn't even practice, didn't even know what was happening. And like, it's like, oh, you're on the team though, so you're guilt by association. It's like, nah, bro. Like, you gotta have actual proof of this. Otherwise, people are just gonna be like, jog on, buddy. And they should be. People should be saying, jog on, buddy, to people who are like basically coming into my chat. Overall being like, this is a throw. This is a match fix. It's like, what do you got for that? Oh, they made a wrong decision and didn't win an aim duel with a 1v3 of an orb. It's just like, are you fucking daft? Like, people do lose matches. Like, there has to be a winner and a loser in CSGO. Okay? Now, on the other hand, though, I am very pissed off at all 5 of those players because I've casted all 5 of those players and I said, hey, they made a mistake here and there. And they've like they've completely betrayed the entire fucking scene by match fixing, okay? Like, it's so fucking annoying defending some of these players, being like, oh no, he just made a mistake. Oh, he just made a fatal mistake. Probably got bad comms. Maybe didn't hear the step. Maybe he was focusing on the left-hand side of the screen rather than the right-hand side of the screen. And then you see like, oh, they were deliberately doing that, like they were match fixing. It's like a complete betrayal of the scene. And then you get these smarmy cunts come in and be like, I told you he was match fixing the entire time. And I'm like going like, dude, man, like, you have no fucking clue if he was match fixing or not. You just said it out of your ass because your bet was fucking losing. But you want to sound smart, you want to sound one up because you come into my chat and think it's right. It's like a whole bunch of people come to my chat and be like, oh, 42 Australians got banned for match fixing. It's like, if you read the fucking ESIC report, the ESIC report doesn't even say that. The ESIC report says 42 of them banned for betting related offenses. Not all of them are match fixing. But no, you can't read the entire report because you're a fucking 2 IQ idiot. Read it. Because I had to. Like, I had to read every single drop of that report to see what we were dealing with. And do you think like all these players in like the one with a 12-month ban for betting on other matches were actually involved in some sort of match fixing when they only made like 1 or 2 bets at most? Fuck me, man. Like, you're giving the Australian scene way too much credit. You're giving 15 and 16-year-olds way too much credit. Like, I'm going to say that now. You're giving them way too much credit. Well, you got betrayed for saying this puts a cloud over all games. Now I'm in question 2 1 2 so much, just IMO. Well, the thing is, like, some tier 1 games, like, there are genuine mistakes. Like, people make genuine mistakes. And, like, there's people going into, like, games being like, okay, this is a match fix. It's like, how? Because I think it's a match fix. It's like, well, then there's already going to be a match fix. It's like the entirety of VAC sucks, and, like, betting overall is just plastered with people coming into the scene being like, oh, this is a match fix if I don't win. And it's just like, well, you're going to find a match fix anyway. Like, you're literally going to think every game is match fix if you come into think it's match fix in the first place. I question games and players, sadly. Well, the thing is, like, if you do that, well, there isn't going to be much of a scene left afterwards, okay? Like, you're not magically going to get that trust back. Like, you're better off to err on the side of caution than to assume that everyone match fixes. Now, on the other hand, though, Cloud9, well, now, not entirely too sure. So Cloud9, Mix, and Henry G leave. Probably the main one being Henry G. And Henry G put a tweet up saying that, hey, he's going to take a break. Probably will come back to casting. Maybe I'm not even too sure at this moment. But it was really concerning to see, like, a lot of people, like, taking shots at him, being like, your team, your Colossus was a failure and stuff like that. I feel like they pulled the plug too early on this team. Okay, like, I thought it was like, hey, wait a moment, they never actually boot camped. This team never actually boot camped. And I know that for a fact because Era was telling me that Messi never boot camped with any of the Cloud9 guys. Okay. How can you not question things now if you know how big a scope this match fixing is? Well, the thing is, like how big the scope it is given the FBI is involved. It's because the betting agencies are coming to the players. So that's the main problem. That's classic match fixing, as Ian said. And there may be some players that tell them to buzz off, and some players that go into it. Interpol's not involved. It's only the FBI. Interpol's definitely not involved. Interpol was like that. Ian was talking about Interpol. If you listen to the interview, talking about the conference was between Interpol, FBI, and all that stuff, getting no to match fixing. Interpol's not involved. Like, he never said Interpol. Richard's listened to talk about, yeah, Interpol have not been involved. They're new to the scene, but they're not involved. They could be involved, but they're not involved yet. Now, a bit unhappy about Cloud9. They lost Gazard, obviously, to Extremum. They lost Woxic. Woxic did not play well on Cloud9. Was a bit disappointed in that. Well, what I'm saying is that Ian didn't mention it. Therefore, I kind of back him on that one. If Ian mentions that Interpol's involved, then Interpol's involved, in my opinion. Like, because he's the one running the investigation. Because he only said the FBI was involved, and that Interpol, like this esports match fixing kind of thing, was like the first time the FBI dealt with it, and they had a conference with ESIC and Interpol and stuff like that. He didn't say directly that Interpol were involved. That's what I'm going off, like what he said. Now let's get back onto Cloud9. And Cloud9, I'm going to say here, is that they had some great players in this roster, and they had some great tournaments as well. Like, losing to some of the finalists, like really close matches and stuff like that, and had a lot of valiant defeats, like where they would lose 2-0, but the 2-0s would be like 16-13, 16-14, where they're like almost there, like they just need one part to go right on someone to, get onto another level, and they'll convert a tournament and stuff like that. And I really didn't understand the hate that Cloud9 are getting. Like, they'll go like 20 million for this. It's just like, dude, man, like, a lot of other players are getting paid a fuck ton more than Cloud9. And the most discerning thing was the stuff about Messi, saying that Messi's unproven, he's not good. Am I going, did you fucking see his stats for a team that was bottom half of the table? Like, Gamer Legion almost got relegated that season, and Messi was the second top player. How does a losing team have the second top player, okay? Like, he's good. Like, his team may not be the greatest, but he's quite good himself. He's pretty much the Clutchmeister. Like, he did a lot of damage, a lot of good trades. He was top in a lot of the big stats area. And they also had S-Tag AWPing. Like, S-Tag AWPing. Like, I don't think he AWPs. Like, he doesn't AWP normally. And they had a lot of people, out of position and stuff like that. And Alex, he was leading a team that didn't have a big name in it. There was no big name in that team other than probably Alex. Like, Alex was probably the biggest name in that team. Then S-Tag being close second. And they got, like, they almost beat Virtus Pro in form. They almost beat OG. And you're, like, going, oh, this is a waste of money. We should just, like, scrap the team up now. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Just don't give you a long-term project at all. Just, like, rip the money after 2 months. Just disband a team. Because a team that hasn't boot camped, that has had online practice sessions together, is somehow meant to win the entire fucking major in one go. Like, come on, man. That doesn't happen. It's never happened in the history of CSGO ever, where a team's just been built just under a week and they win, basically win the entire tournament. Maybe it's a movie plot, but definitely doesn't happen in real life. I mean, come on, get a grip. And it kind of sucks. Like, the scenes were falling off when Woxic and Kazard left. They picked up Elmer Putty in the end. They picked up... who did they pick up for Woxic? I think they picked up Zephyr for Woxic because they needed just a fragger. And Zephyr and Floppy are very good fraggers. Now, since Cloud9's gone, Zephyr and Floppy are probably going to go to Valorant. It's pretty obvious. And since Cloud9's gone, I don't think Cloud9 are coming back. Unless they get a team and a good offer on the table. Because every single NA team, other than Team Liquid, because EG is probably going to do the same thing too and probably pull up stumps as well, they're just going to buzz off their teams and the players are going to go to Valorant, because what happens at the end of the day is that the NA teams, they just want easy money. And since Valve isn't going to come to the table, or ESL is going to come to the table and be like, oh yeah, by the way, let's make this exclusive league where we all make money and anyone in tier 2, fuck them. That's the kind of attitude that's in NA. Like, they just want easy money. And I mean, even though I did say, like, as a joke, that I joined 100 Thieves as a content creator, 100 Thieves is probably some of that mentality is that they didn't manage their players very well. Like, I'm just gonna be blatantly honest. They didn't, they weren't in it for the long haul. They were expecting big wins from the Australian team. Like, same deal here with Cloud9. Like, they pulled out too early. That's what I'm gonna say. They pulled out too early. I would say like this is kind of a Gambit youngster situation where Gambit stuck with their youngster squad for a year and now the fucking top 10. C9 sticks with this roster probably for maybe 3 or 6 more months. They probably have a top 10 team right there. Like, it's only a matter of time before the players get used to the composure required and they get used to that pressure when they lose those matches 16-14 or 14-16 or 16-13, that they get over the hump and, you know, win those end game rounds. Like, it only takes 1 or 2 things going to a situation of Zeppo or Floppy and anything like that, and it gets done. And also as well, like, they could get a star player. Maybe let's just say Simple walks out on Na'Vi and bam, you know, to get Simple into Cloud9 just like that. Like, you know, there's a lot of star players out there they could have, you know, easily picked up. I mean, look at us now. Flames, for example. Flames off the endpoint roster since Thomas came back, most likely, given that Thomas has come back. And I think Cloud9 just put up stomps too late. Like, I gotta say, Cloud9's last venture into the fucking CSGO scene with the other team, dude, they were just band-aid after band-aid. They were not managing that team properly. Like, that's a bad thing for an org, where you're literally like doing this, okay? You're just throwing darts at a dartboard, and that's literally all you're doing. That is literally what Cloud9 did before they left the scene the first time, okay? Like, that's what they did. Like, there's no way in hell that they weren't doing that. And they can't be like, oh, we picked Sub Rosa, and then we picked this guy, and we picked this guy. It's like, dude, no, you guys were just throwing darts at a dartboard hoping it would stick. You guys were band-aiding a team before it disbanded. You weren't building a team. You were just switching the deck chairs on a Titanic. It was fucking obvious. I think anyone with a brain could see that. So they picked up the ADK roster, which was a decent roster. And yeah, like, you know, that fell apart. And that was because same thing again. They kept band-aid solution and everything. Did they even talk to the players about who to replace and crew with? That's all I'm going to say. Like, seriously. And this roster, I feel like they gave up too soon. Like, they honestly gave up too soon. They're just like, oh, we're not winning. We'll give up. We'll take a bat and ball and probably put more money into Valorant. And it's like, they didn't get a boot camp together as well. Just get a boot camp in Europe, man. Go to Serbia. Serbia, like Belgrade, still open. They'll allow you to have a boot camp there. Like, this lineup was good. This lineup, you had the core. Like, I'm going to agree with Rich here. Richard Lewis said this. They had the core. Yes, S-Tag, Alex, and Mezzy were a great core. Mezzy, very clutch. Very big fragger. Big presence. You know him. You see him. And, like, all you needed was just 1 or 2 other pieces. And you have a team challenging for top 10. Like, a scary-ass team. In fact, they could have got any CIS AWPer. Like, seriously, if they wanted an AWPer, they could have just yoinked anyone in CIS. Because there's a lot of good AWPers in CIS that are not on top teams because there's too many good CIS AWPers. There's too many of them. They've got, like, abundance of AWPers. You probably could, you know, buy one in a Walmart in Russia. You could probably, like, you know, I want an AWPer. Bam! You get a Russian AWPer who can speak English. You're in business. And yeah, like, there's so many opportunities like that as well. Like for example, like, Disbalance actually found his way onto Namiga, replacing Speedak. Like, now Speedak doesn't have a team. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But overall, like, I feel really, really bad for Henry G. Like, honestly, I did an honest job of being more transparent in the industry. And it sucks that it didn't end up well for him. Richard Lewis said this. Cloud9 comes to the scene, raises prices for all players, finds out they can't make money, exits, and goes to New Camp and does the same. Well, I'm not going to say something like that, but I'm going to say, like, he's right about them wasting money. Like, this is the thing. Brands are going to realize that they've got to get their players and encourage them to promote themselves, okay? This is what I stuck at 100 Thieves as well, saying that they didn't really promote their Australian players. Like, those Australian players, like Azar, JKS, and all that stuff, dude, you could have got them in a room with, like, Courage and a few other content creators like this, and you would have had an absolute ball, because these guys are legitimate, like, good guys, essentially, and they would have had a lot of fun. Like, you get what I mean? Like, the content creation stage, it's not just Cloud9. Okay, I'm not going to pick on Cloud9 100 Thieves too much. But, like, the content creators and stuff like that, like, there could have been a lot more intermingling with these kind of brands, and to kind of, like, go for a long-term kind of fight where they can make them more than just CSGO players on a map. Okay, they can make them into, like, you know, potential content creation on the side. Like, I mean, they got Ints in that team. I believe, no, it wasn't Ints in that team, sorry. I mean, you got Ints doing some content creation for Renegades. I mean, who else? You got Malta, of course, because I got Malta on my battle tag. Trying to think who else. But, like, you know, there's some realistic, you know, real good guys in there. You know, maybe Azar and a few others as well. They're probably working hard at Extreme at the moment. Grat, you know, Liaz, like, if they want to do it. Like, you know, got some decent guys in there. And some guys who have been, you know, bit characters on the CSGO scene. Do some other things as well. And, you know, could have done it with Cloud9 as well. Like, there's a few guys in there, like, you know, Floppy, for example. Who else? Maybe you can get Esatag and Esatag and Mezzi out there as well. Like, sometimes you got to make your players more than just players. And that's the kind of thing it is. Like, if you want to raise money, you got to make your players so valuable and so unique that you would be stupid not to buy any of their merch. Okay? Like, kind of like Smooya in a way. Like, Smooya's got that infamy about him where, like, fans will follow him wherever he goes. And he might, you know, lead sales by himself because they just like how Smooya talks and how Smooya, like, you know, rattles up the scene and stuff like that. Even though, like, people may not like Smooya for other reasons. But, like, he's got that charm, he's got the charisma and stuff like that to really lead himself as a person rather than just being a CSGO player on the map. And I know people be like, oh, really, you picked Smooya? But come on. Like, he's a pretty good example of a person who's building himself as a brand. Anyways, enough about Cloud9 because you really dumped on a lot, you know? And I feel overall, like, my last opinion is that they left this team too soon. Like, too soon. I reckon, unfortunately for Andrew G, like, if Jack gives them 3 or 4 months of this team, they are probably going to get, like, they probably going to get a lot further. Like, also not to mention, Flashpoint 3 could be coming up, and there could be a lot more money in there, and they could have won that. Like, Virtus Pro was not a partner team. You gotta remember that. Virtus Pro is not a partner team of Flashpoint 3. They just ran through their open, closed, and won the entire event. You know? Who doesn't like a bad boy? Yeah, everyone has to have a villain, because there has to be a villain in the scene, a team that, you know, that you root against, but they're really good, but, you know, you respect them, but you root against them because you know they're the bad guys and stuff like that. That's what Smooya's got going for him. Now, next up, we're going to talk about Virtus Pro, because, hello. And they made a massive comeback on Dust 2. They were down 15-3, by the way, on Dust 2. I think it was. Was it 15-3? Or 15-5? I'm trying to figure it with Dust 2. And yeah, I know it was 15-3. They were down 15-3. And Virtus Pro won 12 rounds in a row to force OT and win. Alright, I think Foreign mentioned that Flashpoint is now dead, so just don't quote me. Okay. I didn't know that. I have no idea. Okay, because I don't get told anything in the scene, okay? I'm not sure why, probably because I'll talk about it here, because me and my big mouth. But, or I'm just not famous enough, which is probably the actual reason. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's behind the numbers last night. Okay, well, he probably know more than I do. Next up, we're going to talk about Thomas. I'm going to say now, the moment Thomas left Envy, he was coming back to Endpoint, okay? And it does suck for Flames, but I reckon Flames got a good deal out of this in the end. Like, Flames got a really good deal out of this because, not to mention, Flames stocks have gone sky high. Like, sky absolute high. It's gone to the fucking moon and back. Like, it's gone to the fucking moon by the stint at Endpoint. And I'm going to tell you now, right now, like, you know, it was always going to happen. Like, Flames is always going to leave the roster for Endpoint. Thomas is always going to come back to Endpoint. Let's be real. And I got to say, Flames, he's been OG's primary target. I'm going to say right now, Endpoint have just handpassed Flames on. They're just like, we can't compete with OG. Just, you know, we'll just give us your price. We'll just pay him out, you know? Because at this point, if OG comes knocking on your door, a team sponsored by Red Bull, you're not going to win at the table, okay? Endpoint do have Thomas. Thomas is a great player as well. And pretty much they just got a like-for-like replacement. And they've all played with Thomas before. So it's not going to be a new surprise here for Endpoint. Now, Endpoint in ESL Pro League, they actually surprised quite a bit. They actually beat Fnatic. That was actually quite good as well. And I believe they did not get demoted. They actually survived in ESL Pro League, which is fucking massive for the UK team. Absolutely massive. I got to wait for it, though, if they did get demoted or not. I'm not really too sure. I may ask an admin later today if they did get demoted. But I don't think they did. I think they actually saved themselves from demotion, which is quite incredible if you think about it, you know? They actually saved themselves from demotion. I should ask one of the ESEA guys when they're out, but I'm very sure. Let me just double check. I can check Wikipedia with the ESL Pro League, but I don't think they would even know yet. Let me see. They're going to be up there in the ranks for sure. I'm going to say maybe, but I wouldn't put them up there, like, number one and stuff like that. Like, wouldn't put them up there yet. Like, they're probably mid-table. Trying to find it at the moment, guys. Sorry about that. Best free lettuce, he knows more than I do. I'm not sure where he is at the moment. I'm trying to find it, honestly. Let me see. Let's see if they can get the relegation up for me here. No, there's no relegation, which is a bit odd. I guess they haven't realized it yet. So I know VP's on a partner team. VP's going to keep their spot, obviously. Let's see. I think Endpoint... No, Endpoint went 2 and 3. Endpoint's going to keep their spot. Like, cause yeah, like I think it's yeah, Endpoint should keep their spot in the ESL Pro League. I'll be very, very surprised if they don't. Given the fact they finished third in their group, or fourth in their group, effectively. So I'll be a bit surprised if it's not. So yeah. Anyways, let's get back to this. So I think Endpoint's going to survive in ESL Pro League. I thought they went 5-0. Who Endpoint? No, Endpoint went 2 and 3. Dude, Endpoint were eliminated. Like, I think Endpoint, Fnatic, and who was the other team in that division as well in that league? Fnatic and Evil Geniuses were eliminated practically by the last game. Like the last game, they're all eliminated. Like they were all eliminated. The bottom 3 teams because they like I think Astralis was 3-1, Liquid was 3-1, Virtus Pro was 3-1. So like all the other teams were 1 and 3, so they couldn't make it out. And I think Endpoint beat I think it was EG actually. Let me see if they beat EG in the end. I think Endpoint did beat EG. Yeah, they did. They beat EG 2-0. As I said with EG as well, they're probably going to disband. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. They're not playing good CSGO either. Now, on the other end, obviously, is that Endpoint have also unveiled an academy as well. They unveiled, I believe, by the way, this is not the cast of Wolfie, just an FYI. They've got a new roster out, and they've got Whitey, who's been in Endpoint for a long time. He's a content creator for them as well, as coach. And he's been watching a lot of Endpoint for a while, so good to see another UK project coming up. And yeah, basically, Whitey being the main coach behind it, and see how this goes in the end. And the next up is OG, of course, as I said, you know how Endpoint before, they're making Academy, and how Thomas is going to return to the Endpoint squad. Yeah, Flames is looking to OG, to be honest. They're looking for a replacement. OG also interested in Mihu, and they're going to tell you now probably 2 big prospects, big picks that OG should be doing. Like OG are managing the players correctly. Going for a big star player such as Flames and Mihu will be immensely, the move for Alex EB. Now, in the end, so Flames has been committed with Endpoint for 7 months to qualify for ESL Pro League, which he did. Endpoint had a magnificent run, winning their grand finals as well. Can't believe they won the grand finals against Sprout personally. And yeah, it's probably OG will be picking up either Mihu or Flames pretty much, We'll see what happens. Now, on the other hand, is Mad Lions did have an international roster, but it's looking a bit shaky at the moment. Like, they are going to be replacing one of their guys. They're replacing Keen. And yeah, so what's happened is that Keen is not exactly the most experienced IGL, and they were going to replace him with something else. Now they're in Sweet Spring effectively in a group with Offset, Exploit, and Case. And Exploit, who we casted last night, obviously, who absolutely smashed Michaela's team. You know how I said in the chat saying that Exploit are a really, really strong team? Well, that's because they are a really strong team. They're a low, mid, advanced team. And yeah, so pretty much Keen's going to be leaving, and they're going to be picking up Spellin instead. Kind of expected for Spellin to be picked up. Spellin, probably one of the big IGLs on the free agency roster still remaining, given a lot of IGLs have left to, greener pastures, of course. And he's very experienced, obviously. He's been in multiple different teams and multiple different setups. He's also been in a world lineup before. He's been in an international lineup with Phoenix and Epsilon and stuff like that before they fell apart, with Surreal, Thomas, and Crucial. Like, he's been in an international lineup where he has to speak English and stuff like that, and he has to talk to a lot of different nationalities. And yeah, so basically, Spellon will be working on some other team members, although not wish to state which players are still on trial. We have TMB, who's signed from AGF. Essentially, Cuban's coaching as well. This is his second international challenge after Epsilon, and he played with Brokey, Keto, and stuff like that. And he's also played with Scar. He's also, he's done a lot. He's got a lot of experience everywhere. So essentially, what it is, it's a 6-man lineup with Spellon. It's actually kind of a crazy lineup when you think about it. It's probably all the better FPL, face it, Pro League stars on a team that haven't been signed to anyone yet. And that's pretty much it, And it's good to see that, Mad Lions, are making a real go of it by looking at players and just, I don't know. I get a bit concerned though when, you got all players from different nationalities and how well they gel together. But at the same time, they're actually actively going for, top tier players and trying to build a team around it. Next up is the perfect world to host another Asian Road to Rio event. So PGL once again are at it. And they're going to be, looking at this actually looks really good, by the way. I actually like the artist here. This art is actually really good. So pretty much what I'm going to say here is I'm actually surprised there are still teams in this region. Given that, Tiger, Paper Rex, and a lot of these teams already left to, Valorant. So I'm actually kind of surprised that this has occurred. I'm going to tell you guys now, I don't think there's going to be many teams signing up for this tournament. So, yeah. I know some people were pretty upset about Perfect World holding it. But to be fair, though, who else is there in the Asian region that you want to give it to? Do you want to give it to FunSpark? If you don't even have casters on their games? Probably not the best people to give it to. And I'm actually really, really shocked, to be honest, that they don't pay an OCE caster maybe a decent salary to just cast those Asian games, instead of just clean feeding it onto their channel. Last but not least, as you see here, Namiga signed Disbalance, and I was going to say right now, told you guys, it's just going to be a snowball downwards as all the AWPers just go down the pecking order, and they Speedak did depart, and he got paid out, obviously. And yeah, so Disbalance playing over Namiga. He's been on Spirit's bench since January, since they got Dexter in. And as you can see here, basically, a better AWPer comes in, and then they do the Russian shuffle where all the AWPers get put down to lower teams. And so pretty much what it is now is that they finally got the first Russian player. So it's not first Russian player, it's a replacement for a Russian player. So you got Disbalance, Box, JO, Lollipop, and MDS. And the thing is, I do not think Disbalance can play in this upper bracket quarterfinal game against Apex because the rosters are locked. So I think they'll be playing with Speedak potentially, but I'm not terribly too sure what they can do given that rosters have locked. And Disbalance is on Spirit's roster, I believe, for ESL Pro League. So we'll see what happens. They could potentially, what I'm going to say as well, potentially they could get emergency loan or something like that where he is let on the roster. Now, not last but not least, but obviously Sadiax has left the roster. He was from SJ, was SJ's best player, and it's probably the last Finn still on the roster. Yeah, pretty much it was a done deal. Pretty much one start. Ents announced the lineup. So Ents, announced his being hard due to Snappy and Alu that Sadiax was eventually going to be released. I assume Sadiax is going to sign up for a team shortly, given the fact that they mutually agreed to terminate their contract. So I'm going to say that he's probably found a team and they're just ripping up the contract so he can go to said team. That's pretty much it, So I reckon he may have a, team ready. So Tumas there saying, I see to choose what's best option for me and what makes me happy. Obviously he's got an offer that he wants to go for and he's probably going to accept it in the end. And that's a good end, My countrymen keep getting realized after 2 weeks of play being released. To be fair though, they needed a more experienced IGL. You can't in those kind of setups, you need an experienced IGL when you're the young star. The young stars are putting out most of the talent, and unfortunately for poor Keen, he's not up there yet. But he'll probably be on the cards in the future, But he's just not at that level yet. He's not on the level yet. Spellon's a great addition to that team because Spellon's at that level already. And it might be actually, it could be a bad thing for Spellon. It could be a bad thing for this team. These teams could all go to crap, but you never know. You never know. But either way, I agree. Still sad though. Yeah, I can understand. I can understand. What are you guys thinking so far about CS:GO? Did anything that I miss? Like, you guys want me to talk about anything else? I know the AU CS:GO scene, LPL, and the ESL ANZ. I've got to say, talk about the ESL ANZ. I think that's been really big success. I've got to say, like bringing the webcams on board, really getting the players into the action. That's been a really huge success. Like, I've been enjoying watching that as well. Where like you can see the players coming. Like, I think Swanky's dog giving him a big smooch on the cheek after he won a round. That was actually a very iconic moment. And also some of the players like dressing up, like Anima dressing up as Harry Potter. That was actually pretty good if you didn't see that. Like, Anima dressing up as Harry Potter for one of the games was really hilarious. And it's really like, let these, guys, young kids in Australia, like really play with their imagination on what they can do and stuff like that. And really make fun of ESL ANZ, like that kind of thing. Like really make it like a summit type event. What do you guys feel about that? I know I realize I'm only talking to like 4 people at the moment, but like I think it's pretty awesome. Like, basically, maybe a costume night and stuff like that. Have a bit of fun. Obviously, making sure, of course, it doesn't affect their gameplay, obviously. Otherwise, every bettor's gonna be mad that, some guy's dressing up as like, Boba Fett and he can't see the screen because he's got a giant fucking helmet on. But I think it's a pretty cool idea, when they have that, webcam and stuff like that and really incorporate it into the event. Like, I think it's pretty awesome. But anyways, that's my thoughts about ESL ANZ. Not a fan? Why are you not a fan of that for? Are you a Slytherin? Okay, because Anima dressed up like Harry Potter and you're a House of Slytherin, so you want 10 points to go to Slytherin instead. I thought it was pretty good that Anima dressed up as Harry Potter. Like, he was playing as Harry Potter. But yeah, I think it's been pretty good. And overall, what else? They had a movie of MacMate casting, man. that was fun to watch. Just played a damn game. It was the cameras and stuff like that was during halftime and stuff like that. Like, they don't like roll around and jump around like idiots, Of course, like, while the game's going. I think the Swanky one was after Swanky clutched a 1v2 and the doggo came up and just gave him a big ass smooch on the cheek. It's pretty good, actually. But either way, that's gonna be it for Chill Time for today. Not really a big episode. Do you see? Yes, I saw that. I saw that as well, which is on the ESL ANZ, where he just basically crawls up to the TV slowly but surely. Actually, not over yet. Actually, I've got to say something. Like, there's been some real shitters, I'm going to say, taking shots at the casters in the Valorant scene. Like, one of them took a shot at Mac, being like, I'm like sitting there going like, Mac's really fucking good at casting. Like, some of these guys who were sitting on the deck chairs being like, oh, this is what a color caster's meant to do. He's meant to bring the hype. It's like, no, the color caster's never meant to bring the fucking hype. Yeah, he said that Mac wasn't good. Like, kept saying brilliant and it was like 2 seconds behind the play. And I'm like going like, yeah, because he's from fucking Australia. Trying to cast on an NA feed. Like, you know how hard that is? And it was just like, he kept saying the same words over and over again. I'm like, no, he didn't. I don't understand why casters never bet on CS, because if you do, you get fucking fired. That is why, and you get banned. You need to take a read of the Valve's unnecessary risk, okay? That it says that if you are involved with a production including casting, and you're gone. You don't people and that's it. Dude, betting agencies fucking talk. If the betting agency's gonna lose money, they start talking. They start chirping. And your name comes up like poor Strong Legs here, you're gonna be banned. You're gone. You're gone. Like, you can't, like, dude, man. You know how immoral it is to bet when you know, like, the information and stuff like that, like your player's not feeling well and stuff like that? You can't do that, okay? Like, you can't do that at all. Honestly, my favorite casting crew is probably the Aussies, if not Pansy and the Sims. Dude, Australians are pretty good casters at the moment. But yeah, I gotta tell you guys now, that's exactly it. That's why casters don't bet. Like, you shouldn't be betting on games. You get unnecessary risks, you lose your job, and you're probably not gonna get hired by any TO. Okay? Like, if you have any of those blips, you don't get hired by TOs. I mean, Look at Dust, for example. Like he makes like one or two wrong words, and basically the TOs just ghost him for like 3 years or so. Okay, the TOs just ghost him. They don't touch him. They don't want him. You know, that sort of thing. And if you've got like something like, you know, oh, this person betted with potentially inside information on your record, probably not the greatest of ideas to put him in as a caster, okay? Probably not the greatest of ideas. And that's why I don't bet in general, because hey, like I've seen the absolute drivel and toxicity that betting has caused. Like people like literally claiming match fix and going insane and going poor and stuff like that, literally from gambling way too much. That's what happened to Blue as a player called a noob on cast. Yeah, dude, I don't want to get into like Valorant, like basically where like the players are really soft on Valorant, where if you say they make a bad play or they make a misplay and stuff like that, you get a tweet at you, and then you get their fans like, you know, standing their guy as they call and like rating you. None CS:GO, okay. Dude, I'm never going to get over the fact that someone called Bentet BNT. Never going to get over that. Never going to get over that. Oh, man. He was like 3 years ago. Now he hasn't casted since. Well, I don't blame him, to be honest. Can you imagine being tweeted at by like 1,000 10-year-olds telling you to go, you know. Yeah, just imagine being, DM death threats and stuff like that, okay? Like, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. I mean, look at the Brazilian scene in Leaf, for example. No ESL let him go? Well, of course ESL going to let him go. Just saying, you would make more money through betting than casting? No, you would not. You would not at all. Then people won't talk to you, okay? Because they don't want to be involved. Like Cafoose, dude, like you don't understand. The moment you get pinged out, you are making no more money. Like you're not going to make money for casting. You're not going to make money for betting because you don't know the inside information anymore. Like that won't happen. Because like the casters don't leak what they're getting. They're getting a fuck ton more money than they would on betting. And trust me, like, you know, I do know a few casters and how much they're making. Definitely not worth it. Like, not worth throwing a bet on. Like, a lot of people think you know, casters will know everything and stuff like that. That like think it's a good idea to bet. It isn't a good idea to bet. Dude, it's not a good idea to like put a bet on and basically flush probably like 6 or 10 years of your career potentially down the drain. Or maybe even more. And flush your entire reputation down the drain. So not only are you flushing down like your caster prospects as a drain down, you're potentially flushing down your brand prospects because you're going to be known as that guy who betted on matches while you're casting. Like, you're not going to be known as like the brand player and stuff like that. Like that's what you got to realize. Like, you know, not everything's about watching money and watching odds happen. Even tier 2 level casts make 50k. I've seen and heard this. Well, we'll get to it now. Not many. 50k is fuck all, to be honest. You might as well just do a full-time job because CSGO is like a full-time job. But let's give you real view. Like, pretty much like, you'd be like, oh, you make so much more money. Not really if you get bets wrong. It's not worth it. It's not worth like throwing your entire career down the drain as a caster just to put a little bet on. Not worth it. Not worth it at all, man. I'm gonna say now, like, I'm not sure about Josh, to be honest. Like, Josh, it's gonna depend on how hard his like ESIC report's going to be about him betting. But some TOs might look at that. Like, some TOs might look at that. Like, if you've been betting and how much you've been betting, like when you're being done by ESIC. Like, some TOs will probably look at that and just be a bit careful, you know? But anyways, that's beside the point. I'm pissed off about that. I can't believe it's casting. Yeah, it's a bit of a grey area, actually. I've honestly actually wondered about that. Like, I'm sitting here being like, if players get banned, shouldn't the casters be banned? But to be fair, since he's been helping out a lot in keeping the Australian ESA Premier from being casted at least, I don't really mind that much. But I do want to like know an answer about the grey area. Strong Legs got the boot from the partnership and the broadcast. I think maybe Josh's wasn't that serious compared to Strong Legs. I have no idea. Never cast CS again. He did. He casted E-Fire League. They contacted them. Strong Legs has casted CSGO after he got booted from ESEA. He casted E-Fire League, as far as I know. Because a few of the NA guys talked about it, that he was casting, was really good at it. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, he cast a few more events. He just didn't cast the ESEA, so I'm not totally too sure. And I didn't want to ask, like, really, like, after Josh got, like, a ban from playing CSGO, like, so casting's different kind of thing, because people are going to think that I want him banned. And I just want to honestly know, grey area, like, you know, does a caster not cast if they're caught with betting offenses, or is it just, like, that's it, you know, kind of thing? We just don't know. That's my honest opinion, okay? Like, I didn't want to get him banned or anything like that. I just wanted to know, like, the answer on that, but I can't really ask it. Also, as well, we'll see what happens, to be honest. Like, it could be before he became a caster, to be honest. You never know. Like, if it's before he became a caster, then he would be off. But actually, no. I can think about it. He was managing the 419, PC 419, so yeah, I don't think he could potentially avoid it. Not totally too sure. Because he was manager of PC 419, that puts you on unnecessary risks. Not totally too sure what it was, because a lot of, like, I'm not going to comment on E6 AU investigation. That's still ongoing. A lot of players getting frustrated now. This has been 77 days, I believe. So I can understand why they're getting frustrated, because there's been no response to them apparently. But not sure what's going on there. And I've I'll probably ask maybe one day, like after the fact, that, you know, if he's been unbanned or not, like in the future, because it's just kind of odd, because it just shows, like, is there any actual punishment for a caster doing it? Like, that begs the question there, you know? And you, like, not that I want a punishment, but, like, it's like, what's up? Like, you know, that kind of thing. But that's, like, you know, that's a question for another day, unfortunately. Like, anyway, I don't want to see anyone banned who can do a good job and has done, you know, a pretty good job to the scene. Like, I don't want to say that. I think maybe he's just done one thing. Like, I'm gonna tell you now, probably he's done one bet, you know, slap on the wrist, never gonna do it again. That's it. You know, that kind of thing. Like, that's my opinion. Maybe Strong Legs was probably a lot different. Like, Strong Legs probably put on a lot of bets that he shouldn't have, and that's why he got the ass. And, like, Josh made, like, you know, just one bet, you know, ages ago. Didn't really know about it. Was new to managing a CSGO team. And that's why I didn't get, you know, the ass, you know, didn't get the kick out of ESEAU. You know, that's pretty much it. Like, at the end of the day. Like, maybe it wasn't that severe compared to, like, for example, what Strong Legs did. If you want an honest discussion about that. Now, you know, I don't want him banned at all, to be honest. Like, we have no people casting CSGO in ESA Premier to begin with. With playoffs, we're going to have a lot of people come back, of course, because, you know, it's all the good teams in there now. And the people who are casting Valorant now have free time to cast the ESA Premier. So we're gonna probably have all the games casted at least. So I reckon all 4 matches next week are gonna have casters on it. How the hell did they find out? Because betting agencies, dude, and chat logs, like, dude, trails, man, trails. The moment you tell one of your buddies to go place a bet on for you, either through Discord or Facebook, the cops have access to it. And in Australia, the betting agencies, by law, if one of the sport integrity dudes asks them, they have to disclose it, okay? That's Discord and all that stuff have to disclose it, okay? Like, the legislation in Australia is so friendly to the cops that if the cops be like, okay, Discord, we need this and that, Discord will pass it over immediately. Because their legislation, their warrant will be, you know, supersedes anything. So that's why it's so easy to catch all the AU guys, because as Ian Smith said it, they're all fucking idiots. Because everything could be tracked. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, everything could be tracked. That's why they got 42 people banned super easy. Because, like, in AU, it's friendlier to the guys who want to get people banned and knocked out. A lot more friendlier. So like basically, let's just say that Australian Federal Police are like, okay, we know these five guys. Like these five guys has been, betting agencies like, oh, these five guys throwing suspects, and then they go to the Federal Police. Federal Police is like, yep, we want this, we want that, we want this. Okay, yeah, hey, this guy's related to this guy. Check the chat logs. Warrant. Done. Like, it's very, very friendly in Australia. Like, they can just get all information on the avenue like that. Like, that's why, like, you just don't do it. Just don't do it, because you're gonna get caught. There's always a trail. There is always a goddamn fucking trail. Like, that's why you just don't do it. Stay clean. Don't be looking over your shoulder at night, being like, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it to be looking over your shoulder your entire life. I had a science class. What did I miss? We talked about NA match fixing. The stuff there, the recordings being leaked. Cloud9 falling apart, obviously. Virtus Pro winning. Henry G, of course, the disappointment of that. And then various roster moves. And now we're talking about, like, not betting as a caster in a CSGO scene, I guess. And explaining how AU's betting laws work, okay? So just pretty much just don't do it. And the main reason why I say is don't gamble in general is that the fact you generally lose money because the house always wins. And B, the share market's probably a lot better, okay? Like, at least in the share market, when you invest in a good company, you get some dividends back, okay? The business isn't going to fall apart overnight. Just like a lot of people's multis, okay? Like, I gotta tell you, like, people go like, oh, share market's gambling. I'm like, well, if you just put money in established companies, it's just going to go up and down and you get paid income. Like, realistically. Like, that's what happens. Like, sometimes you just got to look at the market. Anyway. That's going to be it for me today. Because, what else can we talk about? I know. There was some... Oh, crap. I got to actually record. 2 seconds. I actually got to make sure I'm getting whitelisted. Hopefully, Vikram remembered. I'm running late for another night class as well. Let's get a DM. Sorry, I'm doing DM Vikram at the moment. Alright, I gotta go now. Gambit telling Australis was totally unextraded. Oh, Gambit. To be fair, I kind of expected Gambit to win. Like, Gambit's been in such good form lately. Like, I've got to say, like, I don't think Gambit had to do anything special. They just beat them straight up at the end of the day. I'll take a look at the match here with Gambit. Gambit versus Australis. There we go. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm going to say this with Australis. You should have never played overpass against Gambit. That's all I'm going to say. I think this is a good veto for Gambit. I'm gonna be brilliantly honest. This is a good veto for Gambit. Overpass, they're very good at. Inferno, they're very good at. Vertigo, they're very good at. Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Australis were dead from the beginning. Like, to be blatantly honest, they were dead from the beginning. Never seen a team use, with utility on Banana. Dude, they have goddamn Shiro. They don't need utility. Like, Shiro will get all these opening picks. I'm going to check Gambit out now, but I'm going to say Gambit have a high win ratio on some of these maps. Yeah, I was going to say, they have a high win ratio on Overpass, and a pretty high win ratio on Inferno as well. And also, Vertigo is a cider, man. Like, even Hol was like, I don't think it would beat Australis on Inferno. I thought they would. Like, I thought they would win on Inferno against Australis. Like, that's my opinion, 100%, I'd back them to win on it. But as you can see here, they play Train quite a bit. And they play Vertigo very little, but they're very good on Vertigo. But you can see with Overpass here, like, I'm actually super, super surprised that that Overpass got through. The biggest defeat against an Amiga, that was ages ago. And they beat Dream Chasers by quite a bit as well. Looking at all these wins and losses. I think that was a old roster, I believe. Yeah, that was an old roster. That was one of an ESA Premier again. Yeah, we actually got to look with not the current team, but the Gamma Finals for sure, right? Wouldn't say that, to be honest. I'll see who's on the other side for ESL Pro League. You got Heroic. You got Astralis v Furia. You got Nip v Complexity. Heroic on the other side. Cadian's been playing quite well. They got 5-0 in the division. Be interesting between Heroic and Astralis, so that'll be an interesting matchup. The Danish derby. Complexity's been going shockingly well at the moment. They eliminated Virtus Pro, which is out of nowhere. And I'm just feeling they're not gonna get past Nip. I just don't think they can get past Nip. I think Gambit's got, this ESL Pro League stairs for taking at this point. I think the strongest team would be Gambit in the setup. I'm not too sure it's gonna make the grand finals. Like, realistically, I'd say the teams that have probably the least chance probably gonna be Fury and Complexity. They are facing I just don't feel like the teams that have probably less chance of winning is going to be Complexity and Furia, just purely the fact they're not stronger on paper. Complexity could cause an upset. You never know. But my reckoning is that I just hope Caden gets a win finally. I mean, he's been on a lot of heroic rosters, and I gotta say, it's probably just one of the strongest heroic rosters they've had. Really strong roster. I mean, they've got all the pieces. They've got 3 amazing riflers. They've got Sush, one of the guys who just plays all those. You just think about it. He plays all the crappy positions, all the positions that nobody wants to fucking play. No one wants to play at all. And he's got those positions, okay? And he can play those incredibly well. And but I mean crappy. I mean, hard wants to play. Be playing solo on B on Train. You know how hard and difficult that is, playing solo B on Vertigo? You know how much pressure is on you? If you fuck up and die, you potentially lost the bomb site. And he will play all those positions, and he'll play them to such a great extent. So that's why I'm really, really happy to see, a team like that would have got 3 great riflers in Storm, Refresh, and Tezes. And they've also got Cadian as well, great AWPer, great IGL. So yeah, anyways, I said, pretty good roster they've made up. Now Gambit, however, they've got Shearer, of course, he's all-star AWPer. And also, not to mention, they've got Hobbit's experience there as well. He's really leading into Stefani and Exile to, to become greater than what they are. Shearer is already great to begin with. Now you got Nip and Complexity. Nip, well, you got Blame F, who's a fragging IGL. And Nip, on the other end, though, they haven't made any big movements recently. And it's going to be a tough game for them. It's going to be a tough game for the Swedes. And I gotta say, basically with Complexity, they've upset Virtus Pro, and that's a good form game to be in. Will they get past Nip? That's a different question. Will they get past Nip? And that'll be very close BO3. This one for Fury have won twice, obviously, against G2 and against, I believe it was Fun Plus Phoenix. Arguably so, Fury's won the last 2 BO3s, of course, to get to this point. Will they get past Astralis? Not terribly too sure. But probably Fury and Complexity are probably the weaker 2 teams here. But the problem is you can't put it past them. Some of these teams show up on the day, they win 2-0 or 2-1. And yeah, anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. For Chill Time with Jose. We went up on a bit of a side tangent on talking about a few games. But, essentially, guys, any team could win this. It's like ESA Advanced. Any team can realistically win that bracket. That's the scary thing. A lot of people be like, oh, who's going to win this? It's dude, I can't exactly tell you because all teams have reasons why they can win. All the teams have reasons how they can win. They all have the win condition there. If they hit their shots, they have their win condition. That's essentially it. I know it's fucking obvious as hell that if they hit heads, they win. But hey, if the dog has their day, they're going to win. It's not a part of this team doesn't have the ability. It's the fact that all teams have the ability to win. It's, whoever's a lot stronger mentally and stuff like that most of the time. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe and share. And I'll see you guys, I'll see you guys on YouTube, obviously. YouTube, you'll see this first, not first, but, a bit later. And Twitch, guys, well, we're going to go around and play around with WoW at the moment until Among Us lobby starts. So, see you guys then. And peace out, guys. This has been Jose, and you guys have been awesome.